gets annoying,
Yeah.
So I've seen comments like point blank on pictures or on videos that I've posted like, oh, I want to fuck you.
Oh my god. Wow. Hi, this is Danker, and welcome to another episode of the Are You OK podcast. And today I'm so excited to have my fellow colleagues in the hot seats with me. I'd like to welcome Germaine from 987, as well as Azurah from Ria 897.
Hello.
Hi, Jean.
Hi.
You look great.
You girls are the cutest things ever. I mean, looking like
thank
twins
you.
as well. I mean,
Jean,
like,
are you okay?
I don't know, after so many episodes, I feel like we should switch seats. Anyway, we've got to introduce Jeannie.
Hi, Jeannie.
Yes, Jeannie is our clinical psychologist, and if you have any questions throughout the episode, you want to just ask her about anything.
Hey, free therapy. Free
therapy.
Exactly. Even like makeup tips or whatever, because she's really like.
Where do you do your hair?
I think I need to ask you guys instead.
So Jeannie's going to be here answering any of our questions and guiding us along if there's anything that you all want to ask about, okay? So ladies, I mean, this is a mental wellness podcast, as you know. So I just want to know where your headspace is at right now. Germaine, do you want to start?
Are we mentally well?
Are you?
In my whole 28 years of life, this year I've been the most mentally well. I'll say that.
Great.
That's so nice.
good.
I've been the most balanced and stable.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, and what do you attribute that to?
A
At the moment,
good
yeah.
and healthy lifestyle. Not drinking so much, sleeping enough hours. You know,
Okay.
a lot of things. A combination of like meditation and
Okay.
yoga and
Yeah.
working out. It takes a village to keep yourself healthy.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. And I can tell, like, you know, you're smiling a lot.
She's
and there's
glowing.
I was just gonna say she's glowing, you know?
No, but this year's the first year that I text Germaine at like 10 p.m. for example, and she's like, I'm in bed. I'm like,
On the weekend,
Yes.
I'm in bed. Sorry.
I'm like, crazy.
You're on your own.
I love it. Okay, what about for you, Azurah? Where are we finding you at a mental headspace right now?
I feel like I always am happy. I mean, I do struggle.
Yeah.
And I think something I always struggle with is that the voices in my head is always very loud.
What kind of voice?
Or they're always having a conversation.
a few people in
A few
there.
people in there.
Wow, interesting.
Let's
What's
talk
your
about this.
diagnosis? Yeah.
Let's talk about this.
I'm actually curious. What are the conversations about?
Okay, let's say I'm thinking about something.
Okay.
There are all of these different angles and narratives that would come in, but it doesn't feel like it's coming from one person.
Okay. Oh,
Wow. Okay, so let's see if it's like a work situation.
Okay.
And then you're going like, you're troubled by, let's say, a work situation.
Right.
So you're trying to solve this problem. So you know that there's you in there trying to solve that problem. But then you're saying you also hear like other opinions. Is that right? Is that what it is?
Ish, to put it
Right.
loosely, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Can I say those are kind of like your perceptions, like the different perspectives of how you take on that situation? Is that what it is?
I guess.
Okay.
I guess it's me thinking, okay, this is what's happening right now.
Okay.
But that's also, okay, maybe this person's doing this because this. And
Right.
then maybe it's coming from this point. And because life, you're not just dealing one thing at each
Yes.
time, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a little bit noisy.
Okay. I would say there's more logical thinking, which
Okay.
is fine, because I was for a moment I was like, is that hallucination? So the hallucination. You're like hearing things that aren't there. You're seeing things that aren't there. So I mean, that is something that I want to pick up if I see a client who tells me that. I was like, I'm very curious.
Yeah.
But it sounds to me like that's basically the logical thinking is kicking in. You're just exploring the situation from different angles. I think that's actually okay. Yeah.
Okay.
You're okay.
Okay, you're alright.
Okay.
You are okay.
Okay.
Azurah. All right. So don't worry. Have those convos. I think it's fine. So, girls, let's talk about social media. I want to know, I mean, it's stuff that you guys are involved with heavily. How is that affecting you? Do you stop yourself from doing social media after like a couple of weeks? I don't know.
I try to put a screen time, but when I try to limit myself to a time, right?
Yeah.
I want it more.
Yes.
It's like
It's funny, right? When you give yourself a cutoff, right? It doesn't work
it's
that
like when
way.
you tell a kid no more candy, they're like, I want the candy.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
try my best because I know that so much social media is just not that good for you. I try to
Yeah.
follow things like good news movement on social
Yeah.
media.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I see a bit more positive things.
Yeah.
But social media brings about this comparison. My life versus your life, how I look versus how you look, and
Yeah.
it gets a bit too much sometimes.
Yeah, of course, of course. Azurah, what about for you? How do you manage the whole social media thing, man?
I've never been a social media person. I think we all know this. I struggle with it because I'm very private.
Okay.
I do like to be present a lot. So it's very tough for me. It's not natural or normal for me to whip my phone out.
Okay.
In settings, situations, to...
I see.
Yeah.
Her boss begs her to go on
I
social
bet.
media.
I was just gonna say
Yeah.
you must get pressure from everywhere. Like, please, Azurah, you're such a cute girl. Put some pictures of yourself now on Instagram, please.
I
right?
do. Sometimes I feel like this comes from a place where growing up with, like a mixed heritage,
Right.
for a while, I think growing up, it felt like I'm never this enough or I'm never that enough. Sometimes
Okay.
it feels like society imposes their expectations or, they project their beliefs on you, right? So that's also a little bit, strange for me because
Yeah.
we always see like a different version of someone on social media, right?
Correct.
But I think especially in the past year, I've gone through this journey of which I've just grown into myself. I feel very liberated because I feel like I've embraced that I'm this person.
Yes.
And I just want to do that. And it's very hard for me to sort of hide that or shield that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, just for our viewers and people who are watching, so your dad is Chinese, is that
My
right?
dad's Chinese.
Okay.
My mom is Chindian.
Okay.
But she's on a Malay radio station.
But I'm
so
on a Malay radio
you can
station.
Figure, yeah.
So it always feels like there always are questions because of the last name that I carry.
Right. And that's go.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was always a little bit confusing. You always feel like,
Yeah, you don't fit into a box, right? Not a clear-cut box. And sometimes that's hard for people to place you, and therefore they get uncomfortable or they don't know what to do with you or whatever, right?
Yeah, I think sometimes people are scared of what they don't understand. But
Yeah.
I also had to understand that I don't have to be in a box. Who said I had to?
Absolutely, yeah. Do you feel like more comfortable in your own skin now?
I do.
Yeah. That's really
So
good.
happy for her.
Yeah.
It was a journey for her to get to this point.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not easy.
How do you like my spokesperson?
Yes,
You pay her.
yeah, for all inquiries, please email.
That's it.
Yeah. But social media is tough, I've
Yeah.
had friends who have had to quit social media because of how damaging it was to their
Wow.
mental health.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I always get people commenting about armpits.
Oh,
Like, people
yes.
have armpit
So,
fetishes. Why though?
One time I posted a selfie where it was like this, right? And you can see obviously my whole armpit. And I was reposted on an SG Armpits Instagram page of just girls with their armpits out.
Oh my god!
And then it's like, what the fuck?
Oh my god! I love that.
How do you
I
find it? Did
love
someone
that.
send you?
Tag me.
I love that. Oh my
I don't know
gosh.
what's this obsession with
Yeah.
armpits.
I mean, we were having like a really candid conversation about armpits, and honestly, I don't get because we had a previous guest who was really into feet, and so I just was talking about like armpits, right? And I'm like, all the comments I get about are my armpits. I'm like, what is so attractive about armpits?
what do they say about
like,
your armpits?
Sexy armpits. Ooh, look at those armpits.
Sorry, what?
And I'm like, these things. I'm like, these things. I mean, they're sweaty and icky when I'm, in the sun. Why are they attractive? I don't get it. Yeah,
I don't get it either.
But I mean, what kind of I don't know, stuff do you guys get? I mean, you're young, cute girls. I'm sure you get like stuff,
Actually, I got this guy one time, and he's not even a stranger, right? He's just an acquaintance.
Okay.
Oh.
This was a couple of years back, and I was
It was
dressed.
like, you didn't tell me about this.
I was dressed in a bodycon dress.
Okay.
You know about this. And at this time, I was living in America. I was eating really good. I put on a few kilograms, obviously. And this guy replies to my story, and he says, "I think it's time to hit the gym, Germaine." Yeah.
Wow.
I was like,
Okay.
okay. I was like,
Like, no.
yeah.
Yeah.
I told him off, actually. And
Great.
he apologized because he was like, oh, I didn't realize that it was rude. I'm like, oh, God.
There's more than like I mean, the thing is, it's a very common thing, to be honest, that people like to comment, especially about girls' weight, right? Whether or not you're too skinny or put on a bit of weight, right? They're just like, oh my gosh, they really love to like just put it on us.
Yeah.
I mean, do y'all respond to it? I mean, I know you responded and got a good...
Yeah, that was an acquaintance.
Oh, an acquaintance,
But
okay.
other comments, like people would comment about me and my partner saying like, when he's twice your age but financially stable.
Oh my gosh.
I
mean, is age even a thing anymore, to be
who
honest?
knows, right? I just take it in
right?
good stride. I
Yeah.
just think sometimes it's funny to look at it. Just don't take it to heart.
Yeah.
Don't take it to heart.
Yeah. What about for you, Azurah? I mean, like, like the weirdest
The weird
stuff.
shit.
I think I get very uncomfortable. I don't like it when I get these like sexual comments.
What do they say?
I think it's a little bit better if you DM it, but still like don't. But sometimes they comment on pictures like where it's out there in the open for everybody to see. I especially don't like it when they're done on my station's page.
Oh,
Yeah. Or when I go live on the station's account, for example, and these comments are coming in real time.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
And because I do read them out or I do address them, right? So when these things come in, I can ignore 1, 2, 3. After a while, it gets very,
Of course.
it gets uncomfortable, right?
Annoying, yeah.
It gets annoying, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've seen comments like point blank on pictures or on videos that I've posted, like, oh, I want to you.
Oh my god. Wow. And then let's see, like, you're on, let's say, I don't know,
And
TikTok
I'll be
Live or
like,
something. And then,
Okay, everybody does, honey. Like, you don't stand a chance.
But do you respond like that, though?
No, I just ignore it.
Gosh. Can you respond like that, though? 'Cause I would love that. I mean, I would love that.
gosh.
Because, yeah, you're right. How do you, in a live especially, how do you
Yeah.
constantly, like, ignore it?
Yeah.
It's going to show a little bit on your face. You know what I mean? A little
exactly.
bit, right?
And I think there's been a couple of times. Sometimes I get a bit feisty. And I have actually, okay, so there was once. I had a listener who would text in every day. And eventually started saying uncomfortable things. I got very irritated. And so I went live and I read it out. And I said, is this the same mouth that you used to speak to your wife?
Woo! I love that. Oh my
But
gosh.
it always feels like, can I do that? Should I do that? And
Great.
then nowadays, like, on these live streams and whatever, after a while, if they keep going at it, I'll just... I think someone the other day said something like, I was just wearing a t-shirt and maybe it was a little bit white neck, that sort of thing. And they commented and said something. And I was like, see someone. Come.
Badass. Yeah.
In your 20s, you're just hustling. And I remember when I was in my 20s, that's all I did. I worked
Aren't you
all the
still?
time. Well, Azurah
though.
bumped up to like favorite guest ever. No, I mean, the hustle is real, and I can see you guys working really, really hard and also keeping it together at the same time. I know it's tough. You want to talk us through a little bit of that? Maybe
Biggest struggle right now, probably, I think it's stress management
Okay.
and time management. I just feel that there's not enough hours in a day, and it's very easy to feel burnt out.
Yeah,
right? There's
right.
no amount of caffeine that can solve that. I'm in fact trying to cut caffeine because it makes me very irritable.
how many cups do you all have?
You don't do straight up coffee, do you?
I do now because I have no choice, right?
Oh.
Because I have to keep myself awake
Yeah.
for work and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah,
So now
yeah.
I'm trying to cut completely.
Ooh,
Complete. Yeah, I haven't had a drop today.
Oh, wow.
So I'm struggling a little bit on the inside.
I don't know. Can't tell though.
Yeah, I'm about to
Okay.
drink Jean's coffee.
I was just gonna say it's right
calling
there.
out to me. Yeah, so stress and time management is something that really weighs very heavy on my shoulders
Okay.
these days.
And how do you manage it? I mean, do you have coping mechanisms or? Yeah.
So I actually started seeing a psychologist as well, right? To
Right.
try and figure out what I can do. And she told me, she said, but you only have so many hours in a day. You have to dedicate some of that to yourself. You are deserving of your own time. And she told me that. I started crying.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, I am.
You
I
are.
am. But nobody tells us that.
Yeah.
And we are not,
Yeah,
you
it's
give
hard.
your time to people,
Correct.
right? Yeah.
I know you just got back from Japan. Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
just zipped back.
Konnichiwa.
And
Yeah.
you know, I know like this year has been great for you. I know that you have a new relationship and you are like blissfully in love. I mean, I'm so happy to see all those pics on IG. I mean, I love it. I love it, Germaine.
He has been very important in
Yeah.
keeping me balanced. I try not to be too codependent because I've had that in the past,
Okay.
right? You know, the strange thing is that my mom, she actually lost her dad when she was about 9 years old. So she never had a strong male figure in her life growing up.
Okay.
And I now see that maybe that's where I got my codependency from, right? A
Okay.
bit from her. But
Okay.
in a subconscious way, it's strange, yeah. There are a lot of things that if you don't reflect on yourself, it's hard to know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I can
Yeah.
tell he's a good influence on you.
He
you
is
know?
a good influence. You know what the
Yeah.
funny thing is? When I first told my dad about him,
Yeah.
my dad had the worst impression of him.
Why?
He was like, this guy runs a club. Like, does he smoke? Does he have tattoos? Is he a gangster? I was like, Dad, he wakes up at 6 every day to meditate. I don't think he's much of a gangster. Like, you know? Like,
And
good.
run and exercise and cycle.
yeah, he's the opposite of what you would assume
Okay.
of I think, him. And he's been a very good influence.
Fantastic. So is that where you picked up the meditating and all that? and all
Yes.
that? Okay.
It was.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know how to meditate. I mean, I always find that it's like, I don't know, Azurah, can you meditate? Do you
No,
know how to
they're
do
too
it?
noisy.
I get what you're saying. I know.
I know.
Like, how on earth do you get to a space to like, you know, just clear your mind? I mean, how do you clear your mind? Azurah, how do we clear our
You know what my
minds?
biggest fear is? Those floating pots. I would die.
Yes. Have you ever done it?
No,
Or-
no, I would never. I have claustrophobia, so I wouldn't. But
Okay.
meditation is great.
Okay, so like,
Try.
how do you
Yeah.
get to that space? Let's hear.
Well, it's tough at the start,
Okay.
right? But you really have to engage your senses.
Okay.
So your sense of hearing, right?
Okay.
Hear what's around you. Your sense of like, touch, right? Like
Okay.
you're sitting on this, you feel your weight in the chair.
Yeah.
And really just take deep breaths. Count the breaths 1 to 10, 1 to 10.
Are you doing this like in the morning, at night, in
Mornings
the quiet? In
are
the
usually better
morning?
because
Okay,
then
okay.
it focuses my head and I don't hear that many noises. So you should try it. And then you focus and then you're just a bit more focused for the rest of your day and not so much is going on. Because I've had that where it gets so loud. that
chaotic.
It
It's
is.
chaos in my head a lot.
It
you know?
is,
Yeah.
But in that 10 minutes, what are you focusing on?
My breath, how my body feels, how I feel today, what my mood is, things I'm grateful for, you know? Yeah.
Let's do one right now. I mean,
Oh,
it's
right.
quiet. Let's try to
Okay.
meditate. Can we do it? Okay, Germaine,
Fantastic.
you want to
Okay.
take us through?
Okay.
It's a guided meditation?
Whatever you.
Sure. Sure.
All right.
A
Okay.
guided meditation by Germaine.
Thank you. Okay, listen to 987. All right, everyone, close your eyes. Okay, soft, gentle.
I'm freaking already.
Close your eyes. Keep quiet. Okay, take a deep cleansing breath in and out. Okay. What do you hear around you?
Azurah's voices in her head.
Oh, damn it. They're really loud, Azurah. Turn it
I have so
down.
many comments right
Turn
now.
it, switch the station. How is your body feeling today? Are
Damn
you-
heavy, man.
Oh man. Oh, that's tough. I don't know if I can help you.
Answer out loud.
And just think of something that you're grateful for today.
I'm grateful for the girls coming on to my pod.
Yay! You did it! That's meditation. That's pretty much it. Oh, Jeannie's eyes are still Jeannie, we're good. We're good.
Jeannie's like,
Yeah.
man, I'm
She's
in it.
into it. She was
Yeah.
into it. Maybe
Awesome.
I'm quitting my job.
I love it.
I'm gonna go into
you can
guided
do
meditation.
this. Yeah.
I think you should do it.
Thank
Yeah.
Your
you.
voice is very calming.
It is.
Except when I'm nagging at her. It's not
No, but that's why I always call you when I'm in a panic.
Oh. Okay.
I love it.
Actually,
was
this
fun.
is what we call mindfulness. So
Ah.
meditation is part of mindfulness, and as I know, it's like a lot of noises. The more you should do it actually. So the
Yeah.
whole idea is to really focus on like what you just shared. It was really lovely. So really focus on the breath, making use of 5 senses, and when the thoughts come in, when the chit chattering comes in, it's to let it go and come back to pay the attention back to that whatever that you're doing, be it breath, be it focusing on the theme of gratitude. So that can be a starting point. Yeah.
It was good.
Oh, wonderful.
It was
Is
amazing.
Wusa today going to be inspired by this?
I think so. I love Wusa. Wusa is like my mantra. Yeah.
My little Wusa moment. Yeah,
Yeah,
6:15 Wusa. So girls, has there been any point in your life or something that happened in your life that sort of changed the trajectory of things for you?
You know, I was just discussing this with a friend the other day about who we haven't lost anyone in our lives that have been really like have broke us, right? I haven't lost someone in my immediate family that has really changed my life that much. The person that I lost in my life was actually a friend, and I got the call while I was on air at Class 95. And I got a call in between talk sets from a mutual friend who basically said like, "Oh, she's gone. Like she's gone. It's done." And she had committed suicide, and she struggled for many years. But the reason why I felt so broken about it is I felt guilt because I had tried to save her. I tried to help her. I gave her a place to stay. I took care of her for like months,
God.
and I still couldn't save her.
Right.
And it took me very long to understand that you're not responsible for anyone's life.
Yeah.
But it's hard because when it's your friend, you want to help,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And if you think about helping, I mean, just now you name a few of the things that you did that actually you're just lending her the support, right? And that in itself is helping. But of course, it's hard because I guess it's still your friend, right? And also, I'm wondering also for you, how did it land on you when you picked up that call and when you received that?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I don't even know how I went back on air. I think it was really just a survival, like it was just an instinct thing. But I was just sitting on like our dirty carpet and it just hit me like a truck and
Yeah.
it didn't feel real at the start. But once you go through the whole processions, then you realize there's no reversing this, you know?
Yeah.
Like once it's done, it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It must have been really hard for you as well. And I'm wondering, did you notice any signs or symptoms, prior to her attempting?
So she had posted like very suicidal thoughts on social media. That's how I even reached out to her in the first
Right.
place. So social media, you never know. Sometimes
Yeah.
people use it as a call for help.
Yes.
And I was there. I wanted to help her. And she seemed like she had improved over 6 months. She was feeling better. She was
Right.
got a job and all that.
Right.
Went back to work. And then 3 months later, I just got the call. Like it had no lead up to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Do you still struggle with like feeling guilty about it, or have you processed it enough maybe with like your psychologist and stuff like that? The feelings?
It's been quite a number of years. I think it's been about 8 years already. So by now, when she comes into my mind, I just honor that memory of her.
Yeah.
Right. And I move on with my day. I think time is actually the best way to heal.
Yeah.
A lot of very deep hurt in your
Yeah.
life. Yeah.
Do you have experience of like friends now who maybe are in a bad place and you feel like, should I also still help them or try to help them because you have this experience in the past and that was kind of scary?
I do have friends in a similar situation, and it's tough, right? Like when someone comes to you, because I've been on both sides of the situation. Like if someone comes to you and they say, "I don't want to live anymore," what do you tell them?
Yeah.
It's hard to say like, "Oh, you have so much to live for." They're not hearing
Yeah.
it.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What can you support them with?
Yeah. What's the first thing?
That's a great question, and we got that a lot. So, well, be a friend. So what do you do then, right? Look out for, like what you did earlier, look out for signs and symptoms, right? And you may not be in a position to help them, but you can look at what are the signs, you can listen to them, right? Really, and see how you can empathize with them. You might not be able to, you're not there to solve their problems. And a lot of times we can't, and we're not there to give advice either. But can we then eventually link them to somebody who can actually support them better? So just remember the acronyms, 3 L's. So look, listen, and link. Yeah.
Listen, and
Link.
Yes, linked to resources. So resources like maybe even SOS or IMH, which is our Institute of Mental Health. So see whether you can be there for that person, because sometimes they might not want to seek like a mental health professional straight
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
And because like if I ask you a question right now, right? If you have an issue or problem, who you go to first? A psychologist or your friend?
Your friend, of
Yeah,
course,
you
100%,
probably talk to each other
right?
first, right?
Yeah.
So you be there to support them, but advocate for them and tell them there are resources out there that can support you, and see how we can support them to seek help. So can I accompany you? You know, just your presence might help already.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a question. So, as much as nobody likes like unsolicited advice, right? But I think in a situation like that, when a friend comes to you and says
Right.
these things to you, I think it's also human nature for us to immediately say like, oh, you know, you have so much to live for, or there's so many people who love you. But is that what they want to hear at that point in time?
It can come across as dismissive, right? Or you are, or kind of like, oh, you're not really understanding. You don't actually understand how I feel. So it can come across as, oh, you're not empathizing with me. And that can shut that person down. So sometimes it can be helpful to just listen. Yes, you can probably insert a suggestion after some time, right? And gently remind them in your way, because they are your friends. You know how to reach out to them. Gently remind them that yes, you have all these things and we're here for you. You can just lay it out for them. But when they are talking about our feelings, you know, when you quickly jump into those, it can come off as very dismissive. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tricky thing to handle, isn't it? Right? You kind of want to be there for your friend, but at the same time, it's like you might not be in the right headspace to say the right words.
Yeah.
We're not professionals.
Yeah. I think at that very point when like if Germaine's friends like going like I want to kill myself, you know, like that, I mean, like, should you take that seriously? Should you, you know, when someone says that, do they mean it? I mean, I don't know. Like, how do you even tell?
That's a great question, and a lot of times we can't tell.
Yeah.
Like Germaine was sharing that, oh, this friend actually became functional, right? She got a job, she went back to work,
Yeah.
and all these are things that, oh, maybe she's fine, right? Just check in with this person, right? And so my own mantra is, when in doubt, just ask. Sometimes I'll even ask straight away, oh, are you thinking about suicide? Because a lot of times this word is like stigmatized. Like when I say suicide, I could see like, wow, right? Because a lot of people just avoid and they beat about the bush. Oh, are you thinking about, you know, doing something to yourself? And that can be, that ambiguity just make that person feel that, hey, if I say that I'm going to die, if I want to die, I will be judged. Because when you ask me this question, you're beating about the bush. So sometimes it's helpful to be just straightforward about it. Are you thinking about suicide? Right? And when they say yes, you know, a lot of times people will be like, oh, then what do I do now, right?
Yeah.
Listen, you know, if that person is willing to open up to you, that person might share a lot more with you. Listen to them, you know, be there for them, and see how we can eventually link them to that resources. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. That's some good info.
Yeah.
I learned something new today. Thank you, Jeannie. That was awesome.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Actually, when she mentioned about receiving a call while on radio, I wanted to ask you something, Jean.
Yes.
Because you've been in radio for years.
Oh my gosh.
And I think we all work with our emotions because
Yeah.
we're literally there to entertain.
Yeah.
But we're not in the best place every day.
Absolutely.
And I struggle with this because on my worst days, when I gotta come in and still do it, I know that, you know, the first thing we thought is that you leave your problems at the door because your problems are not your listeners' problems.
Right.
But those are the days as well that I always go, oh my gosh, what am I doing with my life? Because it's
Yeah.
so hard to turn on that mic and turn on that smile, that light bulb, right?
Yeah.
When you're feeling like absolute crap.
Yeah.
What is your way of dealing with it, you know, because you
Yeah.
must have found, I don't know, a formula that works for you, or
I think it's still a challenge, even though it's been so long. I feel like, you know, obviously, right, shit happens to us. This is life, right? Oh my God. But I think I've mastered the, amazing compartmentalizing. I think that's a skill that I literally had to learn because if not, I cannot survive and thrive. So like when my mom died like about 10 years ago, that really broke me into like a zillion pieces. I think I still feel like I'm still dealing with that, in some way, shape or form inside. So, I mean, after 2 weeks, I had to go back on air, right? I mean, come on. I mean, she was just everything to me. And I was like, how do you like go on and, people always know Jean as, man, she's got energy, she's bubbly, you can hear her smile on the radio, how on earth? So on days where I can't smile, I literally do this sometimes and talk, then it kind of sounds like a smile. I literally do that sometimes, but I compartmentalize it like, okay, I'm not thinking about that. I literally tell myself, I'm going to stop thinking about that right now, and I can get back to that at 8 o'clock when the show ends, Yeah. But right now, Jean, just focus. You got 3 hours. Get through this. And just, it's discipline, man. I mean, it's not easy all the time. It seeps through sometimes, right? Like you get moments of like, you sit back in between talks and you're like, oh my God, I can't deal with this anymore. Yeah, and then the mic is on and you're like, right? But I think that's what I managed to do.
Sometimes I take a little crying break in between.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, in between talk sets. Yeah, I just go cry and then I come back.
That's awesome. I feel like the show is so busy. I have no time to cry.
Very busy, to
like
be fair.
the next time, I don't even have time to like go pee. You see me, like when I'm running, I'm like, I'm at the end of the corridor, I need to pee. Yeah, so I find like I focus on the 3 hours and just give it everything. And then at 8, sometimes I'm sitting next door in the OMO and I decompress sometimes for an hour because sometimes there's a lot of things happening. So I don't know. I think that it's still a struggle, I have to admit. It's not that easy, even after all these years. But compartmentalizing, I think I've just trained my brain that way. I don't know. Is that the best way to do it? I don't know. Jeannie, tell me.
Actually, you're using some techniques that I share with my clients as well. So this is what we call delay your problems. It helps with anxiety. It helps with stress. So, okay, you can literally just set a time. Okay, from 7 to 8 p.m., I'm going to cry. I'm going to write out something. I'm going to like just vent it out. So with that, right, it actually puts your mind at ease. Okay, so now 2 to 4 p.m., I'm going to focus on this. Yeah. So during the 2 to 4 p.m., you might be like, oh, I really feel like crying. Think about, okay, actually 7 to 8 p.m., I can do that. So focus back. So that's kind of like a time management in a sense.
Schedule your crying.
Schedule.
I'll put it in my calendar if you want me to cry.
Session.
Do that now. Like, okay. Right.
Sometimes before you go on air, before you start your work, right, think about what are like maybe 1 to 2 things that you can do. It can be simple things like what Germaine has been doing, like just taking breaths for like 5 minutes, right? Focus on meditate or do some mindfulness exercises or something simple, or just make yourself a warm cup of tea or coffee or something that actually help to soothe you down. Try not to do anything that will kind of perk you up or think about, like difficult things. So that can help. So create that mental space, and then physically what you can do to calm yourself down. So it can be simple coping methods that you have that works for you. So think about it.
Okay. Schedule a cry.
Schedule a
that.
cry.
Maybe we could do a group crying session.
Over Zoom, we can all just hop in and cry.
That sounds amazing.
Emotional support group.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
And ideally end up with something cheery lah.
Like a pint of ice cream.
Yeah.
That works.
And then a meditation session by Germaine.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, probably.
Actually, Jeannie, I've got a question as well, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I find myself, I don't know what I'm sad about. I can't particularly pin it to something, but I need a good cry.
Right.
And my way of doing it is like, sometimes I would just be like, oh my gosh, I need to find the saddest thing on Netflix. And I just feel like I need to cry. What am I crying about? I don't know. But I do know that I got to get something out. Is that me being avoidant of something that's actually going on?
Yeah,
I was like, that's a great question. It can be avoidance, right? However, what I'm hearing here is also that you're trying to find an appropriate way to ventilate, right? To really release or regulate that sadness. And that is, I mean, what I'm hearing is it's healthy, right? I'm just trying to find something to make myself like really ventilate out. However, try to go back to the source. right? Sit down sometimes, again, tune into the body. So that's what mindfulness is about. You tune into the body. Okay, I don't know what I'm thinking about, but where is this sadness? Sometimes it's really like just locate where it is. A lot of times anxiety and sadness, people tell me, oh, it's in the chest. I find it hard to breathe. I find tightness here. Describe that feeling. Tune in, use that 5 senses. Tune into that, notice what that is, and maybe that thought will come up. So a lot of times feelings link to thoughts and try to see whether you can find a connection. And if you can't, yes, I guess, another way is to find a healthy way to see how you can then ventilate it out. However, that can be kind of subconsciously avoiding, that's what I'm hearing. However, I may be wrong, right? Or talk through it with somebody. That can help. So explore, the root of what it is. Yeah. Or maybe notice just right before that feeling, what were you doing? Right. There might be sometimes I give my clients like a thought record. It's like a diary, right? So they'll be like, yeah, Jeannie, I don't know why I'm sad, why I'm depressed, right? I give them this diary. Okay, record, when you feel that feeling, right? What was that situation about, right? They'll write it down. Then after some time I see a pattern emerging. Oh, every day at 3 p.m. I feel this way. I was like, well, were you at? Oh, I'm at the radio station. I'm talking to this person. Maybe that person is the source.
That person's causing you.
Yeah, man. My goodness.
So that can help as well.
Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, like, sort of jotting it down. But you're right. But sometimes I think we all feel that way, right? You don't know what it is. It's making you sad, and you're like, I always am searching for something to watch to like let stuff out. What are you watching?
Too?
Yeah. What are you watching? I want to know. Jamie's like, what's going on?
Wait, but here's a poll, okay?
Okay.
When you're sad, should you listen to even sadder music to cry, or should you listen to happy music to make yourself feel better?
Sadder music to cry, man. Yeah. Just put on some Damien Rice, man. You'll be like, oh my gosh, Damien
The
Rice is so
sadder it is, the better.
Yeah. I mean, what are you listening to and watching to let it out? I'm curious. Just as a fellow person that feels exactly what you're feeling sometimes.
I will send you a list, but
Okay.
I'm also always on the lookout as well.
I will send you a list as well.
Wonderful. For music, John Mayer always does it.
Oh, I love John
Doesn't he?
Mayer.
Billie
yeah.
Eilish does it for me.
Oh, yeah.
We know this. We were there together.
At the concert, both of us crying uncontrollably.
Oh my
Uncontrollably.
And like everyone that we know is around us, our colleagues, our boss, and we're just there like,
At least you had each other. Oh my gosh.
we did.
I love it. Well, thank you girls for sharing today and just being really lovely to talk to. I mean, I just love chatting with you girls actually. We should do this more often. We should really set up our emotional support group. I think we should.
how's your calendar looking? Let's
I mean, I'll
pencil
make
it in.
time for this.
For a cry?
For a cry.
And for the crying playlist.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Tune in to my show this evening. You guys are gonna know it. Thank you, girls. And yeah, I mean, whatever it is you need, Jeannie is a phone call away. I am a couple of doors down away, and we can all have a little nice hug and chat
We'll
again.
catch you on your pee break, which is like 1 second.
Oh, yes.
Bye, G. Thanks, girls, and thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.